Alright, so this is an article from May 12th, 2018. Bill Gates revealed a scary simulation that shows how a deadly flu could kill more than 30 million people within 6 months. The Shattuck flu map animated simulation shows what would happen if a highly contagious and lethal airborne pathogen like the 1918 flu were to occur today. Nearly 33 million people worldwide would die in just 6 months. Now, same article, I'm just going to go ahead and scroll down here. So the simulation was created by the Institute for Disease Modeling. Take a look. See where it starts? Over there? Pretty damn close to Wuhan, China. It starts in China. See that? This was a simulation done in 2018. Influenza viruses like the 1918 strain are considered a prime candidate for a next global pandemic, something that many experts say is guaranteed to happen sooner or later. Even in a normal year, the flu kills between 291,000 and 646,000 people around the world, according to the CDC. Let me go down here and read something else real quick. Oh, there it is. The U.S. government recently lifted a ban on the practice of engineering viruses to make them more deadly. Experts say that type of work could help us prepare for the threat of new deadly virus, but could also increase the risk that such a disease gets out into the wild. We ran a massive viral pandemic simulation. Here's what we learned. Let's go ahead and watch this video.
These epidemic events are getting more and more disruptive to health and to economy. And the reason we called it Event 201 is we knew eventually one of those days, one of those events would be the big one. And that big one would really challenge our capacity to respond. And to respond to the big one, we do need to have all hands on deck. Participants are confronted by a hypothetical scenario that presents to them the challenges of a response. So we will say, here's a hypothetical disease outbreak. This is the way it might be evolving. And these are some of the challenges that you'll see that you'll have to address to address the disruptions that you're seeing to your healthcare system or to your organization. All stakeholders realize pretty quickly just how underprepared we are and just how much is possible when we work together.
Okay, so if you go to the description here for that video, in October 2019, participants at a pandemic response exercise called Event 201 were confronted with a hypothetical scenario to test the world's preparedness for a viral disease outbreak. After the emergence of the coronavirus pandemic, Johns Hopkins Center for Public Health issued the following statement. In October 2019, the Johns Hopkins Center for Health Security hosted a pandemic tabletop exercise called Event 201 with partners the World Economic Forum, and the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Recently, the Center for Health Security has received questions about whether that pandemic exercise predicted the current novel coronavirus outbreak in China. To be clear, the Center for Health Security and partners did not make a prediction during our tabletop exercise. For the scenario, we modeled a fictional coronavirus pandemic. And so, all through my years, in all these years, I even asked my mom, he's like, have you ever heard of the coronavirus? I mean, I know it's been around, like the coronavirus has been a thing forever, for a long time. But for them to actually be using it in this day and age, when it's not, no one's ever heard of this recently, in years and years, nobody's actually had said, hey, you ever heard of that coronavirus? If you asked anybody, they would have been like, what's the coronavirus? Anyway, but for the scenario, we modeled a fictional coronavirus pandemic. So, this just happens to come out in the year 2020. Well, this was before that. But this coronavirus, it just so happens to happen in 2020. Yeah, you really think this is by accident, people? But we explicitly stated that it was not a prediction. Instead, the exercise served to highlight preparedness and response challenges that would likely arise in a very severe pandemic. We are not now predicting that the nCoV 2019 outbreak will kill 65 million people, although our tabletop exercise included a mock novel coronavirus. The inputs we used for modeling the potential impact of the fictional virus are not similar to nCoV 2019. This isn't by accident. None of this is by accident. This was planned. This was already meant to happen. It didn't just randomly happen, at the end of 2019, and then here we are in 2020. It didn't just randomly happen during this year. This has been planned. This was all part of the plan for a long time. In 2018, they did this simulation, and then just in October of 2019, like I just showed you in that video, they were doing it then. They were doing a mock run of it then as well. They have everyone out here in fear. Everybody, it's the herd. The sheep are being led to think about all this a certain way, not seeing the truth, not seeing that this has already been planned. We've been preconditioned. They've been conditioning the masses, for this for a long time. They've been conditioning them for a long time to think that this is what was going to happen next. It says it right there. It's the candidate for the next global pandemic. And sure enough, that's exactly what happened. And then you have people who will talk shit. I'll read comments on these videos where, it's already been predicted and things. And people will just talk shit. It's clear. And I'm not going to be part of the sheep. I'm already outside of that. I'm not part of the herd anymore. I see the truth, and I see how this has been going in a certain direction for a long time. We're not going to fight them. We're not going to consent to it. We're going to come together for one common goal, one common cause for survival. Blood is the key. Blood in, blood out, blood over intent. It's just that simple. It's time to wake up. They got all these motherfuckers out here scared, not knowing what's going on. These are the end of days. It's time to wake up.
It gives us a chance of being able to respond in time when the next epidemic hits.
Of a massive experiment worldwide. And that
where's the guinea pigs?
Maybe. The experiment is, will people listen to scientists?
It gives us a chance of being able to respond in time.
Maybe the experiment is, will people...
This isn't the first time something like this has happened. It's time to wake up, zombies. Get your heads out your asses. The idea of such an attack was well known and had been war-gamed as a possibility in exercises before 9/11.
We need to do simulations, germ games, not war games, so that we see where the holes are. Germ games, not war games, so that we see where the holes are.